The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour, where we come together at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And the market's starting to tick up. I suspect that a great deal of this is the markup into fund buying, which really kind of start in earnest tomorrow. So it's probably kind of tough to think that at least for the next few days that we can be fairly bearish. I don't know if there's that much upside after the move so far today, but what we could probably look at is whether or not this lasts beyond probably next Monday or Tuesday. But we'll see. Volume is not all that exciting so far, but you do have a few bullish biases. One is fund buying over the next few days. The other one is just people hanging on through the end of the year for movements. But that's kind of it at the moment. There's just we're right against what should be fairly strong resistance, especially on the SPYs. That goes up to about 405. So we're not quite there yet, and this is really where it starts in earnest. We're at 401.08 for the last tick I have. So we'll see. They may just hold it up and try to sell into it as much as they can from fund buying. But don't expect probably a big dip until that fund buying is over. So we look at the calendar. It's always the last 2 days of the month, really, in the next 3 days of the trading month. So it really goes into approximately Monday that we could hold up at these highs. But that's kind of it at the moment. We'll see. Powell is still speaking, but I don't think he's going to say anything that's really going to change the minds of folks. I don't. Is anything really going to change because of this? No. I think this is probably a short-term move. When we look at the things that I look at, things like earnings are starting to probably give you a lot better idea of what's going on. CrowdStrike was down about 20% going in to Powell's CRD. What is that? It's down still 17.5% on CrowdStrike. Intap is down about 8%. On the upside, we can always pop up a chart on that. So what do we have? On the positive side, Intuit. They'll get around to it, up 7%, one of the few ones out here. Actually, not a bad-looking kind of engulfing candle on Intuit. But, of course, this one tends to be fairly strong into tax season. As we said, it's yesterday, kind of interesting to find out that during the document dump of Thanksgiving, we found out Facebook was buying the information from your tax returns. They didn't link it yet to Intuit, but I would be very interested to see if Intuit wasn't doing the same thing, and that is selling your information to the great, huge, wonderful companies in Silicon Valley that are literally hoovering up every bit of data you have. Now, of course, this probably should be covered under a variety of laws, and the question is how aggressively are the attorney generals going to go after companies that did sell your data, i.e. how much money you were getting back, if any, your salary, your total earnings, your adjusted income, that kind of stuff. So we shall find out, but let's take a look at Metamucil here real quick. Yeah, not much going on here. You did get off the lows, but it's not saying a whole lot. You're up on fairly light volume today. In fact, what do we have for the SPYs here? Let's go ahead and look and see on that. Historical data. Well, volume's going to be fairly good compared to the last couple of days. Probably get exceeded on the SPYs. But again, you got to have that cash coming in for fund buying anyway, so it's going to be tough. I'm wondering what happens after fund buying and whether or not we just sit up here and many people start selling in to the movement. First question of the day is to take a look at UNG, as we got about 3 minutes left. Of course, you can email me at path@tfnn.com, or you can, of course, put it in the den, or give me a call at 877-927-6648. You come back and you've filled this gap. The gap up had 5.3 million shares. You're doing about the same out here. So just kind of hanging out. But I can't see anything that really makes me want to do much on that run right there. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, got a couple more emails. Did I not? I did not put that up. TSC RWD CrowdStrike, of course, the computer security company, did drop the chalupa, and not in a easy way. So there was, take a little longer look at this. They've blown through the lows, and that really opens up kind of support at about 80. But in the long term, a low back at $31.95 is a possible issue. And I know they've got a lot of programmer talent in Ukraine. I didn't get to read through what these guys were doing, but you got to think that there's got to be some disruption in that part of their business just on that. But could see, you have kind of blown through the lows, and you've got a lot of volume today. So yeah, probably 80 and 90, the next levels where you have a couple of gaps. And if those don't hold, or you don't get back into the trading range fairly quickly, your risk is down to $31.95. Okay, we'll take a look at NTAP, NTAP, down 7.5%. So we'll look at this one real quick. Come on, there we go. Still in the trading range, so not as big as a issue as one might think, but still a huge gap down, I guess, is your next test. It's going to be the low of October 13th. That's $60.56. You got a lot of volume today already. We'll be back in a minute.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And as we come back, a question from Gary wants to ask about Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. If you missed the news article, basically the Chinese are, at least, they're not actually throwing money around, but trying to influence the acts of the administration right now by dangling both for Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, that they would be able to handle the retirement funds of employees in China. Of course, that would be about 800 million folks. And that's a pretty good dangle out there. And, you know, if you're doing a bunch of things you probably shouldn't be doing, and pressure for somebody to actually do something here on the administrative level, probably not bad to go to the money bags of Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and dangle the carrot in front of these guys. I don't think there's a chance in hell they get that business. And I think that's why you might see the movement in Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs today with some little hammers. I think it's more to do with the Fed today. I don't think anybody's believing it. But you know what? Could you probably get those guys to go up to Capitol Hill and spread some love on just the aroma, just the whiff of a smell that these guys would be able to handle all the retirement accounts in China? Again, probability of that happening, I'm going to say 1%. But you know what? That's how you project power in the United States, if you're China anyway. 877-927-6648. And you got already a nice volume high as you went into the previous high on Morgan Stanley. You had 9 million shares into 7.3 and a half. So on August 15th. So you had a high volume high. You're coming up to it today with about 3.6 million shares. Again, like I said, we're right in the window, especially in the SPYs, where the high is about, where massive resistance should be at about 405. So we may just have gotten everything that we were going to get for fund buying, and it may just hover around these levels. I need to see something very different from what Powell said. And of course, I've not been able to listen during the show, but you're probably getting the markup here today. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And what else do we have? Okay. Take a look at the XLE. Yeah, we probably had the bottom part of this in. You did test the previous high of 91.28 with 28 million shares. You did test it with 23 million shares. You're not really backing away too much, but at this point, we're probably just consolidating the highs in the XLE. My belief is that we're going to probably see this over $100, maybe shortly after the beginning of the year. I think there's going to be a hell of a snapback as a few of the impeding reasons to drive prices lower for crude oil tend to start moving away or going away. Okay, got some questions here. NVDA, is this real or is it Memorex? You got a nice candle out here today, but man, this is what I'm saying. I don't think the volume's going to be here for a lot of these, maybe after Christmas. But certainly you have a nice candle with about 30 million shares. You know, you had a lot of days that were in the 70, 80 million share range. And so 29, 30 million shares. So let's say you end up with 45 million shares at the end of the day. There's some, but it doesn't look to me like the kind that blows out the highs. Now, the good side of being long in with NVIDIA is that it and AMD are constantly being shorted. You know they're being shorted. Somebody today, and probably just a second ago, there is no two stocks that are more despised at the moment than AMD and NVIDIA. So my guess is you could have a nice run back up to the highs still. And that would just be massive amounts of shorts piling in on it at literally every opportunity, driving it back higher. So that may hold you up. Let's look at AMD and then we'll look at the semis. And yeah, same kind of thing with this, not much in the way of volume. But you are kind of holding out sideways here. Let's take a look at the SMHs. Same thing on that. You really had, probably looking for 6.5 million shares. You got about 3.3 million shares right now in the SMHs with about an hour and a half left to go. So, yeah, kind of tough to actually push that up. Okay. See, okay. What do we have here? Looks at XLE. Question from Sam, is CCJ ready to go? I think this is still consolidating out. It may take 6 months and a couple of earnings calls to figure out where the debt that they took on buying Westinghouse comes. Long term, I think you're fine. Short term, I don't know if there's a lot of reasons before the beginning of the year to get too involved. But as soon as crude prices really start heading back up, and I think they should, you're probably going to continue to see this do fairly well along with the other uranium companies. No reason to think they're going out. Question on TLT. Dave, you haven't said much about it lately, and that was because this is the counter trend move. Now, we'd been looking for about 101, you'd kind of jumped above that, and you had some decent volume on the 23rd as it did break above and gap a little higher. You came back, kind of filled it today. Not a lot of volume on there. I think it's you're probably pretty close to as good as it gets on the TLT. Doesn't mean it's going lower before Christmas, but I don't think there's a lot of reasons to think there's a lot more to the upside on that. And let's see. Got some other emails here. Let's go ahead and check those out. Okay, can you look at the IBB? Anything going on in that today? Oh, we'll be back in a minute. We'll look at the IBB. Kind of hanging out at the belt line here. See if there's anything going on in this sector when we return.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we return, this is Dr. Ruth. You're on the air. Okay. I was busy reading something and wanted to see if it affected anything we were talking about. I didn't see anything in there. Looks like Powell's done speaking. So that's it. We had a couple of questions. First one was the IBB. So we've got a little pop up here. But again, so far, I want to watch the volume at the end of the day. But this probably, like I said, I don't think you instantly turn lower. But not a lot of volume so far. Now, a lot of that could be waiting on Powell, and we may get a great deal more volume before the end of the day. But, 1.6 million shares. That's compared to probably the candle down on the 16th of November at 17 million shares. 1.7 million shares. And the high into 2.4. So maybe not horrible, but, maybe you get back up to 136.89. I wouldn't be surprised to see that in the next couple of days. Question about Ulta. Someone asked me about this a week or 10 days ago, and I said that we've got a couple of them around here, and I tend to drive by them, and the business had been looking very brisk down here in Florida. Just from the anecdotal evidence and the lines kind of coming out the door of the ones down here, I'm not just a big fan right now of thinking about shorting these. Now, maybe the rest of the country, women aren't lining up to get the war paint, but it certainly looks down around here that they are. And like I said, a lot of business. There's a couple of them in strip malls, but the parking lot in front of them is generally packed, and not so much in the rest of the strip malls. So, like I said, I think they're doing okay. Maybe someone will call in and tell me that that is not the case around the rest of the country. But certainly the three we have around here that I occasionally drive by, the parking lot indicator shows that they're doing fairly well. 877-927-6648. The only thing you have to say is light volume. But again, we were waiting for Powell. Now that he's over, maybe that changes. Ulta after the bell tonight. Okay, and what else do we have out here? We're going to look at something. Send royalties back to the Art Bell at midnight. Oh boy, what a thing! I remember the show where he was talking to the devil down a giant hole somewhere out in Montana. I mean, you knew none of it was true, but it was interesting nonetheless. Someone's looking at, is this Party City PCTY? Paylocity. I keep on thinking that it's Party City. I wonder if those guys are still around. Anyway, a nice candle today on lighter volume. Does it have legs? This looks to me like it's going sideways. I mean, you got a day to day, but this isn't doing anything but filling up the sideways move in the gap. I don't see a whole lot in this. I don't see a lot of reason if you're long to sell it. But I probably see less reason to buy it. I don't see anything that says that you should short it. So that would be interesting. Okay. Let's see what else out here. I thought somebody else asked me about something else. We looked at Ulta. We looked at Paylocity. I think that's kind of it. Okay. Question about Microsoft MSFT. Yeah, this kind of looks like the whole whole market probably today. I bet we're going to see a great deal of that. And that is, you've got a big kind of reversal candle, but so far not the volume to justify it. You probably wanted something like 34 million shares today as you went back up into the high of the 11th, and that had almost 35 million shares. You got about 17. Again, could the bullish bias just into the end of the year, where a lot of people, if they haven't sold now, are they going to sell? And you just see kind of a squeeze higher. You probably want to be thinking about selling if you do. The best thing that could happen for Microsoft is it goes sideways into the end of the year and then maybe start moving at the beginning of the year. If we get something like we had into Thanksgiving, where we just go up on no volume all the way into the end of the year, that opens up the trap door for January 2nd selling. And that may be the scenario that we get. But, earnings are not going to be good next year. I don't care what Powell does or says or anybody else. We're starting to see accelerated losses on stocks for earnings, and they aren't going to get better. We know that. I think everybody knows that. Now, the question is, are some of these priced in? They could be. But I think what we saw in CrowdStrike and Intapp are probably more indicative of what we are going to see going forward. Question is, Amazon doing anything today? From the high plains of what was it? The high plains of Nevada. I think he lived in Frump, which is always an interesting name. Frump. Anyway, Amazon. Okay, talk about sideways action. I have to say that I'm highly disappointed in both Amazon and Walmart these days. I've ordered stuff from both of them. They said it was in stock. They said they would ship it. Walmart worse. Walmart said it was in stock, charged me for it, then it's telling me it's going to take 7 days to get it back because they don't have it. That always worries me. When a company kind of acts like maybe it needs some cash. They didn't have it. I never got it. They never shipped it. How come they can't just instantly refund the money? Amazon, a lot of stuff they say are going to ship 3-4 days later when they said it was going to be here tomorrow. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with a 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And after the bell tonight, we talked about a few stocks. And of course, CRM, to see if there's anything going on in that one. Very interesting. We talked about it a lot yesterday. I don't know if there's a lot to add. I was just wondering, if they're just running everyone out before the turn here on this. Not a lot of volume in the pop. Very tough to think. You got a high volume low at 136.04, so I don't think I could be long this until that at least gets retested. So, maybe 165 if the news is really good, but the downside would be 136. So the risk reward pretty horrible on that, I believe. Let's see what else we have. And volume's about 8 billion shares now. So, we've had a little while. It really hadn't caught up. See if there's anything. Synopsis, Splunk, SPLK. Okay. Gotta take a look at that. These are after the bell tonight. This just looks like, man, this does look bad. Looks like $65. The October 13th low is going to get tested. It's not that much lower, but yeah, I don't see any reason why you'd want to be long that. Also, Snowflake, SNOW. Yeah, a couple of these do look like they are ready to go back and test lows. Snowflake, actually, if our earnings weren't there, I'd probably been take a look at buying it today. It's had a nice candle out here on the move. Low was 131.94. Right now, 139.68. So not a bad looking chart. Come back in here and filling a gap higher that had almost 10 million shares. You're into it today with less than 5 million as we speak. So actually a fairly nice setup. I would have liked to seen the low retested before this, but it's could be worse. Okay, we talked about Box yesterday, talked about some other ones. Don't see much in that. Let's take a look at Thursday. We got Kroger's Dollar General. Let's take a quick look at that one. If I'm not mistaken, these guys have already kind of pre-announced a little bit. You tested the previous high, about the same volume. You're back at support, so I don't see a lot of reason to go at that. Also, in the retail stores, we've got Big Lots. This is Thursday morning, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. When I've been by these stores, they haven't looked good and they haven't had a lot of folks in them. This is one of the parts of the strip malls where when you go by them, you look, there just doesn't seem to be a lot. Now, again, anecdotal. It could be the times I'm going by or the places I'm going by, or the area of the town, but I've gone by enough of them that they have not looked good. See if there's anything else out here. Okay, that's Thursday morning. I guess I said Ulta was after the bell tonight. It's after the bell tomorrow night. Okay, Marvel Technologies, MRVL. Of course, in the semiconductor space for this company. So we'll see. Just going sideways on this, even on a day like today, up on about half the volume of probably what you wanted to see. But again, shorting stocks before earnings, always problematic. The shorts tend to want to blink first, even if the market's going down. You almost have to wait till the close. And even then, you may have to endure a lot of pain after hours. Let's see, what are we at here now? Yeah, the SPY's right in to where there's probably maximum resistance. 402.27 is the last tick I see here today. But again, we'll see. Let's see on this. Okay. Zscaler also on Thursday evening. I mean, this one looks bad. I think I looked at it before. It looked to me like it was ready to go blow through down to about 80. There's a big gap down there. That gap goes back to May 29th of 2020. And I don't see anything really here that says this thing's really done going down. You gap down today. Not a lot of volume on energy on the downside, but if they don't whiff and they don't go down further, you might have a little bit of short covering before the end of the year. But I certainly wouldn't want to go long into earnings on that. See what else do we have here. Ambarella, we haven't talked about this one for a while. AM. Oh, we got a caller on the line. Let's go to him. How you doing, John?
Hello, David. Thanks for taking the call, sir.
Go ahead. Give me a full report.
I would like to ask you to take a look and give us your assessment of GDX. That is the Gold Miners ETF. I might ask if you can look at it in the way that you do as standard. Be interested in that viewpoint. But in addition, David, I would ask to direct your attention to the current price, $28.96, and the nest of lows. It was September of 21, was December of 21, and it was late January 22, where GDX declined and bottomed exactly at 28.82. And we went up to that exact price a couple of days ago, and we are now pushing past. I am wondering, as you see it, if this could be not only a rally extension, but a launch point for dynamic rally phase. And I'm wondering if your tools and techniques shed any lights in attempting to answer that question, please.
I would say, at least on what I'm doing, I don't see a lot of technical indicators. As far as fundamental, certainly looks like we're very much like around 1980, where we had to raise rates a whole lot, and gold really didn't move. But as soon as it looked like the highs for interest rates were in around 1980, you had that huge run from 1980 to 87-ish or 88-ish on gold. that huge bull run. I'd say the conditions are very close. So I'd probably take the long view on this and sit on my hands and own gold. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we had a little bit of a thrust there in the SPYs. Kind of got blown off fairly quickly. As I said, we're pretty extreme resistance levels on the way up now. We'll see what happens the next few days. That being said, we couldn't try to chew our way through the highs, but my guess is that we're probably going to see a lot of this just being markup for fun buying over the next couple of days. And now you start thinking about what happens in the next year. If they push this up on no volume into Christmas, does that portend a giant plop with no fizz and no relief there is after the first of the year? So we'll see. Wasn't exactly sure what Powell was going to say. I was hoping he would push the market down a little bit and then get an opportunity to buy some calls from Friday. But nobody was going to wait. Anyway, 403 on the SPYs as we speak. When you look at the volume again, I didn't see a lot during the break that made me think that this was some kind of blowout to the top side. But at the same time, it's fun buying. Kind of reminds me of the end of Chinatown. What a great movie that was. And they just had to say, hey, Jake, it's Chinatown. You got to say kind of the same thing about fun buying. It just comes in, nothing you can do about it. Most of the time it's bullish. Most of the time it's all about them marking up and selling to the suckers, those people that invest every month and pay probably 1% or 2% more than they probably should. And the way that they make out is holding it a lot longer. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll be back tomorrow, bright and shiny, with Tim Ord tomorrow.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible.